Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Banner Saga. We've been having some fights around this town, but now we need to go delay the people at the docks, various lords that are coming to visit. We don't know anything about them, at least not to my knowledge, but a minor delay. I don't know if that's going to end in a fight. In the last battle we were told that someone was ready to level up or whatever, but I've clicked on all these things, they're not buttons, so I'm not sure how that gets done or if it happens automatically. So hopefully a tutorial will pop up explaining that. But first, to the docks. Vognir. A familiar Varl steps onto the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version trampling the halls of Grofheim, abundant in purpose. God, Zubin. You looking ancient. Comes with being old, and if there's a Vognir, there must be a Hakon. Must there? Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid old yaks? At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Jorn demands it. I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from Arberang, in fact. And glad for it. Hakon motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering, golden wolf head emblazoned on red, the king of men, or someone on his behalf. King's whelp. The king's son, Ludin. Don't you know Scrivener? We visit his capital. He visits ours. It's how we make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Yes, Hakon, it is. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Then you're going to Grofheim. I have the distinct feeling I've finished my business in Strand and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but, let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is the prince is a delight to behold. Where's Moger? Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading up to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few. Others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Moger. See you in the morning, Scrivener. I'll be going. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Ludin looks for all the world, the sort of boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. That's a description. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think. A boy who grew up pulling the legs off of spiders. Weariness suddenly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it has been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Vognir's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke so highly of. So we can click a talk icon to converse with one of your heroes. Is this... I guess there are heroes now? Let's talk to this... I'm assuming that's the prince that we don't know anything about. Or do we talk with our people first before we talk to the prince? Hopefully we can do both. Yeah, let's talk to the other Varl. Scrivener. You find Hakon in a mead house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no strangers to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. Went straight for a flagon. Vognir was the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. You already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the human settlements that give me trouble. No surprise. What this time? When I got here, the Great Hall was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Ha, humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yoxfart, I might be desperate to make something of myself too. So they're a long-lived race. It's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon, let's slip a slow lets slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting a swath through Dredge as at Vognir's side in the Second War, and regularly since then. Down here, I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point, just another reason to get back to Grofheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the mead house becomes overbearing, then step back into the cool air outside. So this is just getting a bit more context of the characters. Got it. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl, who must be working for Ludin. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Ludin. Yes, you're with Vognir. I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Vognir a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Ludin looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? Just introduce myself. I hope to learn more about you. I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. I hope to learn more about you. Oh, well, you seem to know who I am. Do you have what you need? So I do. I won't keep you. You leave wordlessly. It seems clear that Ludin was in no mood to talk. Or he's a miserable cur. I guess that's that. Let's go to the Great Hall. At dawn, you're woken by a delivery of goods. At least you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with a sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply leathers. All there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Vognir is already here. A while later, Ludin and his men appear, groggy and disheveled. Moger steps forward, Vognir's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. We're ready. You follow Moger and the others, and join the others. Usually, the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing of the sort, just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strand well as a whole, you think. Okay, so we're leaving Strand. Okay, losing supplies. Makes sense. I think we had 100 days of supplies. We're down to 66. 85 fighters, 366 Varl. The caravan stops for the day. A gift, says Moger, cracking open mead casks from our gracious friend, the governor of Strand. Hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed through the camp. Drink a little, drink a lot, or toast to Vognir. Let's toast to Vognir. You raise your drink, toasting the alliance between man and Varl. The others join in. Ludin's expression is like a stone wall, but the others laugh at your exaggerations. Eventually, you sit down beside Vognir. Chat with Vognir, drink merrily, or go easy on the drink. Let's chat with him. Thanks for the speech, slares Vognir. Looks like you didn't have to miss out after all. Thanks to Moger, I thought the damned governor would never shut up. Did he give you the history of his entire family? He tried. Then he asked me to clean up his mess. For your benefit, it turns out. I'd have given the job to you too. Gods, there's no joy in politics. Speaking of, what happens after this business with Ludin? Hopefully the boy goes back to Arbering on his own, and I can take out some frustration on Dredge or something. Starting to sound like Hakon. You don't like the life of a diplomat. Ha! Don't you miss the fight, Ubin? You down your mead instead of replying. Vognir slouches and shakes his head. There's no great joy in killing Dredge, but pretty sure this nonsense is some scheme between two kings to force some kind of lineage. Used to be warriors would follow you for what you've done. Isn't that what they follow you for? Isn't that why they follow you now? Is it? Or is it because I'm the next in line? These lines are getting muddy, old Varl. They've always been muddy, Vognir. Vognir stares into the campfire, lost in thought. You leave him to it. You rise groggily, the campsite a casualty of merriment. Vognir is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Ludin stalking your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Vognir. You're needed. Ah, Ludin. Always a pleasure. You look well rested. Vognir releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return. How long to Grofheim? Ha! We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come on, I'll show you a map. This is a map of the world. You can explore it by dragging the mouse to pan and using the mouse wheel to zoom. Okay, it's a pretty big map. That gives some scale of the size of the game. I'm assuming they wouldn't make a map this big if we weren't going to explore large portions of it. So, Strand, I would guess is probably that, but it's not labeled. But it was by the water. We did get to a bridge. Why? Oh, Strand. So it doesn't look like that's necessarily pointing to a specific town. I don't know, somewhere around here. I would think there. We made our way to here, and we're going to... I forgot the name. Location of a caravan is indicated here by Ubin's icon. Yes, obviously. Oh, things highlight. That's nifty. The world map is covered with many locations and holds much lore. You can explore the map at any time, clicking on locations for more information. Yes, so that is Strand. Brilliant. As close as anything comes to a bastion of racial tolerance, both men and Varl compete to scratch out a living in this, the biggest trade city along the west coast. Many people still believe the god Dengler still watches over it, granting good fortune. So we are at Vedrefell. Named Bad Weather, the gales that blow in from the bay and around the mountain peaks keep Vedrefell in a generally unpleasant state. What really cemented the name was the kind of person who would live there. Men cast out from Strand for one reason or another, with nowhere else to go. Hron is the large country, I suppose. Long snowfields, tall mountains, and sparse woods of Hron used to be a gathering place of Dredge during the Second Great War. As Varl pushed them ever northward, they took the land and settled it themselves, preferring the cold expanses over the warm, busier lands of men to the south. Now the territory is almost entirely Varl. Is it Einroft? Is that where we're going? Einartoft? No, that doesn't sound right. Home of the first Varl king Einar, who carved his empire into the crook of the Brattaback and Wormscale mountains. The Varl fortress, hewn into the rock itself, eclipses all but the greater accomplishments in the north. Grofheim? That sounds familiar. I don't know. I'm sure they'll tell me. We can see the map. Well, they kind of already did tell me, so I just have already forgotten. Hopefully we can get back to that map easily enough. We head north, then east past the forts. Grofheim's far from Strand. Going to be a long march. You should have drank last night, Ludin. Why not take the ships to the Skirmstead? What's the point of marching? The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad, though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skirmstead. A half-sunk city crawling with dredge prints. Dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers. Ludin exhales through his nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside at the tent flaps as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Don't poke the anthill, Vognir. He seems no happier to be here than you. Spent a few more days with the boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off to. Ludin's got a shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Vognir. Let's get moving. Another half day to Vedrefell, if we're lucky. Camp is where you manage your caravan. During travel, you can enter camp anytime by tapping the camp button on the travel HUD. While at camp or in towns, you can upgrade your allies or equip items in the hero's tent. You can pass time by using the rest tent. Resting will improve the caravan's morale. A high morale will reduce casualties in war and affect your willpower in combat. Each passing day will use supplies, so only rest when necessary. The training tent will allow you to safely try out any characters in a mock battle. Tap leave at the bottom of the campsite when you're ready to get back on the road. So morale was still good, I think, last I checked. So we can upgrade heroes, which seems to be what the tutorial's wanting us to do. Training, rest, or leave. Everyone's leveled up. Cool. I'm assuming that's what the one there's indicating, is that we're leveling up. Click on a unit to view stats, promote ranks, and learn about abilities. So our roster is just these four. Gunnulf, Ludin, Hakon, and Vognir. We don't even have... I'm terrible with names. The character that seems to be our main character isn't showing up here. Odd. Alright, Gunnulf. Click the ability button to learn about the unit's abilities. Oh, and we can click here to promote. Got it. Yes, you've got Tempest. Character uses massive weight to sweep his weapon around, hitting multiple adjacent targets, friend or foe, for normal strength damage. Tempest triggers the character's passive ability, Heavy Impact, which in turn can cause a chain reaction of destruction if used in close quarters. Keeping this character out of harm's way until late in the fight will maximize his effectiveness. Makes sense, because we were seeing later on they had taken down his strength to the point where he wasn't really doing much. If we'd waited until other characters had broken through a bunch of their armor, then he would have been able to do a big sweep of a bunch of enemies. So that makes sense. Rank 1 hits up to 2 enemies. Rank 2 hits up to 3. Rank 3 hits up to 4. So, I assume... Are they talking about rank 1 Warhawk? Or Tempest rank 1? Probably Tempest rank 1. Almost certainly. So, it's currently rank 1, so we only hit 2 people. It's saying enemies. But in that fight, when we used it, it hit 1 enemy and our ally, and then ignored the other guy that I thought it was going to hit. So, I don't like that they're saying hits 2 enemies when it hits friend and foe, and it doesn't even prioritize foe. It wasted one of its 2 hits on an ally. So you need to make sure you don't have allies nearby when you're trying this. Heavy Impact is his passive ability. Character hits so hard that any enemies standing adjacent to his target on a strength attack take 1 strength damage from the shockwave. Hitting a large target like Varl or Dredge, who take up 4 tiles, can potentially cause an impact across many more victims than hitting a single tile target such as a human. Specifically only enemies it's claiming here. I don't know what this skull 3 out of 2 is implying. Oh, okay. Kills needed to promote to the next rank. You promote based on kills. So he needed 2, he's gotten 3, so he promotes. Gotcha. Click the plus buttons and the plus and minus buttons to add and remove points. Or is where you go to learn more information about this character. Renown is gained from defeating enemies and can be spent to upgrade your characters. So kills determine when we can promote ranks, but renown is how we upgrade our characters. Is that different than promoting? Points available indicates how many stat points are still available for location above. Let's click promote. Greatest warriors on the battlefield are those who live past their first battles and start a journey down the path to legend. Higher stats increase your item rank. It's not something we choose. And then a 5 there, whatever that means. So just... Are you sure you want to promote for 5 renown? Yes. So we spent 5 renown to promote. He now needs to have 5 kills. And it doesn't reset the counter. Good. This unit has points available to spend on improving stats. Click one of the plus buttons above. So the right side is presumably how high he's able to go. That's what the increased limit meant, I assume. So I could boost his break 1 point, but that's it because that's the maximum limit. I don't know, for him, I think he's entirely focused on strength and some defense. I think keeping the focus on primarily strength is the right way to go, and we will try and hold him back out of battle until enemies have had their armor taken down. Maybe we go 1 point strength, 1 point defense, so he is able to hold on to his strength better. Ubin, that's the name I was thinking of. When Ubin became the Varl King's tax collector, he was given an entourage of bodyguards to help transport gold across Hran. Gunolf is the only one from the original group still alive, and for good reason. Yeah, so let's confirm that. I don't know what that circle is for. So yeah, why is Ubin not in this list? Meanwhile, the rest of you... And the other... Yeah, the leader over Hakon and Mogir vote. Starts with a V. I'll get the names in time. He's also not here. But these three are all new. They haven't been part of the previous battles, which is why we don't have level ups for them. So even though we've got the renown, we can't level them up because they have no kills among any of them. Okay. Anything further to tell me here? Renown from defeating enemies? No. Okay. So that's that. I don't think we need to rest. Our morale is still great. We can just go straight back to the map whenever we want. Good. And we are trying to get up here to Grofheim. Last home of the Varl and seat of their power, founded by Anfinir, the second Varl king. Though the Varl has moved around a lot, most consider Grofheim their capital. The deeds of Varl are honored here, and all warriors of worth are buried at the foot of the two spears, where they are said to become part of the Varl March itself. Two spears being those mountains. So if we're here, we're probably going to head north up this trail, I'm guessing. Maybe there. Okay. I don't think there's a reason to rest. So let's just head back out.
Weatherfell. Even the name means bad weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. They tend livestock, but most are just men driven from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long.
Supplies are going down. Morale has dropped a little. My Hadborg. That's a lot of Varl for some missing cattle. What? A couple days back, sent word to Strand about the cattle. Didn't expect an army. He looks pleased with himself, until it sinks in that you aren't here on his behalf. Where have your cattle gone? Wouldn't know. My boys sent men up in the hills carrying them away. Don't know many men who can hoist a whole cow by himself. Skulfing's out here, maybe. Could they have Varl working for them? Not from what the governor told me. I'm going to take a look around and get camp set up. The peasant spits, his eyes anxiously darting about as the caravan sets up tents. We'll be here no more than a day. There's silver for any food you've got. For hundreds of Varl? Are you serious? Whatever you're willing to sell. You thinking of squatting? Not enough room for a couple hunters here. Forget hundreds of... Shut up. Hear that? Where's Ludin? It's faint. Sounds like fighting and something else? Hakon takes off at a run. Ludin got into a fight by himself? I mean... Good luck, man. So Ludin, what do we know about you? Can't tell. Clicking any tile will automatically make a path, but you can also set waypoints. Click once to make a waypoint. Now select the next waypoint. This is often useful when you need to avoid certain tiles. Okay. He can attack from range. At least he can attack diagonally. I'm assuming, yeah. So he attacks from range because he's got a spear. It's good to know. Spearman can attack diagonally and up to 2 tiles away. Click the top right banner to compare your stats to the enemy's. Now click the enemy to target. Oh, you are so dead. So Ludin has only 1 break. Not a lot going for him. Armor blocks on attacks on strength. For each enemy armor higher than your strength, there's a 10% chance the attack will be deflected. Notice that the chance to hit shown above the attack button. Attack this enemy's strength. So, because you have 10 strength and he has 15 armor, it's supposed to do no damage. But they're saying he still has a 50% chance because 15 minus 10 is 5 times 10. 50% chance to still do 1 damage. Is there any way for me to go back to see your stats, what abilities you have? Probably not. They want me to focus on this tutorial. So even if I click these, which is not letting me, presumably that would just change the percentage and not actually do more damage. So the Dredge Brute, 3+ armor damage to Dredge causes 1 arm damage to chain to all adjacent Dredge. So that's your passive, is when you take armor damage, others around you also take armor damage. So it's a negative passive. Good. Scourge uses his weapon to summon an ally to the battlefield. Bad. Deflected. Did no damage. Deflected attacks do no damage. From here on out, you will fail catastrophically if you don't break armor. Damaging both strength and armor is equally important. Okay. Well, you're dead. Alright. What can we do here? So Hakon, you've got 2 break. Vognir has 2 breaks. Gunolf only has 1. None of you are really designed to take out break or take out armor. Splash damage, sudden impact, added strength and armor damage to target and adjacent enemies. When hit by an adjacent enemy, counterattack for 1 armor damage. Good. Breaks enemies' armor and punishes enemies for retaliating. Okay. Well, you're first. So let's move you. We could go there. No, I can't get to the other enemies behind, so I might as well go here. And then if I did Sundering Impact, strength and armor damage to target and adjacent enemies. There's no adjacent enemies. If I did an attack on you, I could do 2 armor damage. Yeah, there's just not a lot of point in attacking strength at the moment. Can I back out of this? No. Yes. If I did Sundering Impact to you, what does that do? It doesn't really tell me. Strength and armor damage to target. Does that mean it's just doing the normal attack? So in this case, it would be the 2 and 1. I'd get to do both at the cost of his ability. Is that just willpower that uses that? I thought it was something else. Anyway, just go for break. You only have 4 willpower, and that uses 2 of it. But we need to break him as quickly as possible. Now you could step up, join the fight. You don't have much break, but you do have a lot of strength. Tempest we don't need. So let's have you just do a bunch of strength damage. Alright, you can't get to him. You could get to this one if you used a willpower. Seems reasonable. So Bring the Pain was what? Breaks an enemy's armor and punishes enemies for retaliating. Let's try it, see what it does. I'm not super clear, but I'm assuming it does the 2 points of break, and then we also get a retaliation. Yes. Oh no. Alright, you're taking lots of strength damage, which was exactly what I said I didn't want. So how do we make that stop? I need to pull him back. I think we break again. Do I use your last willpower? I think so. I need you dead fast. Alright, so you are getting quite hurt. I could pull you back. That way only one of them is on you. Which seems wise. Could have done Tempest, but I think this is fine. If we do 2 strength damage, he would only have 8 strength, which matches our armor. So, shouldn't be able to hurt us. Besides the 1 point with a slight chance. Which I'm okay with. Alright, then we get you over here. Let's move you in. And bring the pain again. Keep laying on the brake. Okay, so we did manage to get the 1 damage. That's fine. Let's... You're another guy with break. I can have you do some break here, but I think at this point their armor is low enough that at least he's doing big enough numbers that it's probably fine. Let's see. This one's next. So if we can lower his damage substantially, probably should. Alright. Keep doing basically no damage here. Okay. Which one? Hard to tell which is which. Ah, no. So the next one is that one, which doesn't matter for him. There's no way for him to get involved. So we might as well, because it's going to be a while before this guy goes again, we might as well attack here. Could do a bit more break, but it looks like you'll just kill, and kill is better. Whenever an enemy falls in battle, 1 willpower star is added to your horn. Using the horn will give 1 willpower to the active ally. Okay. What do we get if the horn fills up fully? Or is that just the maximum limit we can use? Let's have you just focus on this guy. Alright, you could take out this guy, which is probably good. Is it though? Because if we take him out, then this guy who's got a lot of armor and health goes more often. So maybe it's probably better... Yeah, it's probably better to take everyone down sort of evenly rather than one at a time. No, because once he's down, then we go into... We leave the turn-based order here. We go into sort of a normal turn order. Let's move here. Then we can do this Tempest to hit both of them. Focus on him. Now we're in the pillage mode. He got his attack, which is fine. He's just doing armor because our armor is high enough he can't actually hurt us. Then I guess we'll move you in here. And you can finish him off. Okay. Foes lying dead at your feet would regret crossing paths. Defeat an enemy with a shield master. Defeat an enemy with a war master. +5 renown. You trying to get yourself killed, Ludin? What are you doing? I was trying to get a shot in between the plates. You've never seen a dredge before, boy? What kind of idiot? Break the armor first. Where did they come from? We didn't see them. They were just there. Hagon goes to where Vognir lies face down. The future Varro king lies motionless, aside from a spreading pool of blood. Vognir's dead. Chapter 2, cut with keen-edged sword. That's probably bad news that the Varro king is dead. Or was he next in line? Don't recall. Who is that? Where did that thing come from? Shh, stay close. I think it saw us. Is it hunting deer? So we're now playing as a different group. Okay. We don't know who these people are yet, but I'm sure we'll find out. But I think this is a good place to cut the episode. Next time we'll pick up from here and find out more about these characters and how they fit into our story. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you then. Bye.